economies and geopolitical power balance games. The lack of clarity on identity ends in a land of broken identity. The identity rift, which gets reflected in the classical question of philosophy, who am I, gets transformed into a social question, who are you amongst us? Who are you amongst us leads to a measure of the demography. How many, by what percentage of education, wealth, power, control, several things. So it is not a question of who am I, it is who are you amongst us. And the fallout of this question is, are you one of us or someone else? Are you a friend or a foe or otherwise something else? Insider or outsider? And once you get to this particular boundary, you know what it is going to be in the social context. How it tips the power balance, the relations and all the other things. The red states, the elections, political analysis, the geopolitical analysis, everything comes into picture. You take it back, it ends up with a scripture, a revelation, understanding of a certain tradition, and a whole lot of things. So what are we trying to achieve by debating on this identity in terms of the social realm? The way these questions are perceived and practiced by policy-making bodies, implementation agencies, advocacy groups, educators, has a critical impact on how future society is grouped. The directions of social welfare, social community alignments or divides, distribution of power, holding the faith reins, controlling the national governments. I don't have to give any examples of nations tagged with a religion-centric power. You know where the power is, who's sensitive, and what rules. It is not the elected representative, the will of the people. It is a religious dictate, the dictum of that particular person, interpretations that rule. And when we have two different models of that and a clash is there, war is inevitable. Friction is inevitable. In other words, lack of clarity on identity is the mother seed source of all forms of stresses, social, spiritual, and national. Lack of clarity on identity leads to bad, imperfect, impotent forms of action. We can put that all in spiritual dimension and talk of karma yoga. But what was the message? You do your action, right action, now in the society. Bad actions have impact on human welfare and also on the eco-welfare. We have just one word, right? Therefore, if someone is working for an imbalance of welfare based upon a religious identity, it also brings in the imbalances in the eco-welfare. It could be the gas consumption in a particular country, power consumption, coal, it could be information control, it could be media, it could be a sky drive to another country targeting the economies. Several dimensions, nothing to do with spirituality. Net result is suffering of global magnitude. Why is this debate critical for Hindus in America and globally? Now, why do you make it now? Is this debate an India-centric or a US-centric or a humanity-centric one? Is it for those on the other side of life carrying silver hair on their wise bald heads or their toddlers with toes in the mouth? Who are we addressing here? Each aspect of the debate has a relevance from different perspectives as it gets opened up during the sessions when we open it up. The US agency surveys in the census do carry the religious identity tag, and this could be better. Okay. The US agency, whether it's the Pew survey or any other surveys, do carry a religious demography analyzed, which carries what is your religion and why is it important. And recently I saw that additional note. I declined to answer these questions. It was not there earlier. I do not answer to any of these classifications. Is a recent addition in the forum, in the census. 2 years ago that was not there. You had to accept one of those things. I fit into one of these things or I don't fit into these things. Now, in education, more than 4,000 schools and programs in US study, teach, talk about Hinduism, whether it is India studies or religion studies. There is a 100-year-plus old Academy of American Religions deliberating Hinduism in advanced areas. Journal of Tantric Studies by a lead professor of Harvard who is highly controversial. He puts up a journal. Somebody from Italy puts up a study on yoga. Somebody from France comes up with a study on Samaveda. And what does the Indian traditional scholars do? They parrot like repeat. It was said by Max Muller, it was said by so and so, all that particular thing. Gaga, second fiddle on that. Even INS, US Consulate, do have their own guidance rules of how to issue or consider a R1 visa for a Hindu priest. Have you studied what is their definition of Hinduism? There is a Religion News Writer's Guide who specialize in writing about Hinduism. BBC has a special section. This Religion RNA Association right in US has got a special section. We have Hindu community, Hindu mandirs, and a Hindu university. Right now we are sitting here. So, what is the plain water meaning of the word Hindu, which seems to carry a pluralistic, context-based, amorphous meaning? What is Hindu identity in the social perspective? This is the platform, this is the ground I am bringing in. There are several issues that have come up. I am a Hindu. I want my child to be Hindu. The child asks why I should be Hindu. Do we have an answer for that? Especially when it comes to marriage, when they say, I want my child to marry another Hindu. And the child says, no, I am marrying another human being. Be happy for that. I am not marrying a dog. Okay? The issue of the gay and the lesbian issues has been bothering the church for a pretty long time. And the Indian communities are putting, don't talk about those things. So the three questions I picked up here, and I don't see many in their early 30s around here. Probably they should have been here. No, nobody in the early 30s here, no. Okay. I do see people with grandchildren, yes. The three questions I have picked up are: one, who is a Hindu? You leave dogs and cats in a room, dog will find a dog, cat will find a cat. But if you leave 20 persons in a room without telling who is a Hindu, can you identify who is a Hindu? So this is called technically Jati Gnana. So the Jati Gnana, do we have Gnati Gnana, identifying a relative, technical name for that. Do we have that sense? Do we carry as Hindus, two horns or long ears, something like that? I don't know. Dress code. Second one is, if I have to recognize somebody as belonging to my category, do I know how I am a Hindu? It's a self-introspection. And then, who is a Hindu? How am I a Hindu? And how to recognize? Okay, in this given context I know, but if I am thrown into Antarctica or Mexico or some other corner, let's say Mars, and I find an alien, and do I ask a question, are you a Hindu or not Hindu? Friend or foe, I understand in the war field. Are you a Hindu or non-Hindu? How do I understand this question? Or how does defining it? So, with these opening observations, I am going to open up for the wise speakers to share their views. Some ground rules. There is no guarantee that at the end of the sessions you will walk out with one or more specific definitive answers or a greater wisdom. Okay? You may run the risk of greater confusion, lesser clarity by the end of the deliberations. I was happy in my confused state, but now you created more problems for me. I don't know what I am. So you have run the risk already. There is no expectation that you shall fall into fixated blocks of definitions or agree with the speakers. My suggestion, listen carefully and deliberate. Make no fault-finding missions and sermons, agonizing, lamenting, blame games, postpartum, please. Look ahead and think. Maybe someday I would like to see a signboard at all establishments carrying a Hindu tag, like Hindu University, Hindu Mandir, Hindu food stall, Hindu family, blah blah blah, all the kind of things. Something starting like, welcome, you are a Hindu if you meet the following dash 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 dash. That's it. Can you do that? Please respect time, keep focus, be courteous in presenting views, even when dissenting. If you have doubts, we will have extended workshops and sessions to make further deliberations. So thank you for allowing me to present my opening thoughts. And the first lead speaker setting the talk is Dr. Deendayal Khandelwal, who was one of the historic, I would say, founder of Hindu University. And we have got his colleague, Abhinav Dwivedi, who is sitting here on our side. And we have got, can we have just the names going around? Okay, I'll start from this corner. Dr. Satyanarayana, he is from India, he is a dance therapist. I know Shiva Totapalli, he is here in Orlando for a number of time. Madan Gopal, he is from the Hindu Mandir, he is on the religious committees. And I know Dr. Nageshwar Dwivedi here, and I know Sherry, who's there. And if I'm missing the other people, please tell your name, sir.
Oh, Dr. Dwarkanath Mishra, and my grandson, Vivek, and my wife, Janki Mishra.
Neela Dwivedi. Shalini Jain.
Shobana.
Shobana Jain.
Okay. Lynn is there at the back.
Henry Villegas, thank you for allowing me to come.
Okay, so when people walk in, that's fine. So Dr. Dean Khandelwal. And when I spoke to him, I asked him, do you want a sophisticated gadgetry like PowerPoint? He said, no, I am a old style person, give me a board and the writing piece.
Thank you.
Thank you. You want to use that?